My politics are libertarian in nature. I believe that individual liberties are more important than the concerns of the state. I believe in personal responsibility, and fundamentally, although not without certain reservations, I believe in Locke's 3 natural rights: the right to life, the right to liberty, and the right to a state. Because of this, I see the government response in both my home country of Australia and around the world to COVID-19 not only as an overreaction, but as a deeply troubling violation of our natural rights, specifically our right to liberty. In Australia today, our state government's begun to move to shut down all non-essential businesses, close the borders between states, and grant themselves and the police extra powers in order to enforce the increasing state of quarantine. Gatherings of more than 100 people have been prohibited and now carry hefty fines of more than $50,000. This has all been done under the provision of a state of emergency, which empowers the government to undertake actions and impose policies without requiring a vote in Parliament to pass laws. It also allows them to supersede your civil rights. You can now be arrested for ignoring government instructions, even if they're not against a written law. All of these actions are being undertaken without the consent of the citizens of Australia. You didn't vote for this, your representatives didn't vote for this. And this isn't just happening in Australia, it is happening all over the world, from the UK to Italy to China. I'm going to read a quote from Benjamin Franklin that he wrote in a letter to the colonial governor of Pennsylvania. If you Google this quote, you'll find a dozen articles about why it's misused or misquoted and removed from context. They're wrong, and one day I'll explain why. But here it doesn't matter. The content is what matters. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. The measures being put in place in Australia are a violation of our most basic human rights, specifically the natural right to liberty. You are not allowed to go to work. You are not allowed to operate your business. You are not allowed to go to events, to eat out, to have fun with your friends. Your right to liberty has been removed by your government in order to purchase a little temporary safety, in this case, a reduced chance of contracting coronavirus. And if you're okay with this, then you deserve neither. Because once you give up an essential liberty, you can never truly get it back. You have created a precedent that the government can enforce these measures at its own leisure, with no approval required. If they ever desired to become tyrannical, and to strip you of your rights permanently, they would not even need a vote to do it. Just an excuse. The state governments declared a state of emergency during the bushfires, and then again when flooding occurred in New South Wales, and now they've declared another one in response to coronavirus. This means in Australia, your civil rights have been optional since the end of 2019. You can be forced from your home to evacuate, or you can be forced to remain within it, all on the threat of imprisonment hanging over your head should you disobey. Now, what happens if they declare a state of emergency because of civil unrest? What if you suddenly become a criminal because you were protesting about climate change? Will you say the government shouldn't have that power? Because if so, you must recognize that they shouldn't have that power ever. Once you give the government the power to perform these actions, they will never voluntarily relinquish it. And the more they use it now, the more freely they will use it in the future, and when they do, it will be more readily accepted by the people. It is of the utmost importance you always maintain your freedom, and don't relinquish that right because of fear. Because once you lose your freedom, it's very, very difficult to get it back. Would you like to know more?